the god of hellfire, and I bring you fire. I take you to burn. Fire.
Hello, Music Multiverse listeners, and welcome to Panelists Favorite Show. We're going to go back in time to a fevered year. The Vietnam War, Tet Offensive, Civil Rights Movement leads to police killing students in South Carolina. Yeah, first time police were killing students. ROTC protests erupted and took over Howard University that, shut the school down for days. The assassination, of course, of Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy. But there was also the first Special Olympics. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I don't think any of you are my neighbor. No, a little ways down the road anyway. The Night of the Living Dead, to put it in another perspective if you want. Madison Square Garden opened to the USO. Bob Hope, Bing Crosby. November 1968, the first rock show there. Anybody? Want to guess? It is one of the bands that's possible on albums. It would be Cream. They were the first to play Madison Square Garden. Their opening act, Buddy Miles, and the guy who should have been the lead singer of Led Zeppelin, Terry Reid, was another opening act in that day. A meal disguised as a sandwich. That's right, the Big Mac, 1968. And in honor of 1968, this show will not be in color.
Yeah, right.
Oh, my kids! Oh, they think when did they invent color? I think it was the 80s, and when Duran Duran came in. No. So anyway, the Big Mac introduced, and of course, on today's show, you can bet your bippy that it's Panelists Favorites Show albums of 1968. Our Bippin panelists, I guess we'll call him today. He is the god of hellfire. Chef Jeff, the Grateful Dude. I wonder what that was a reference to. Alex Kaluzny could not join us tonight, so his Big Mac disguised as a panelist isn't going to work out. Book him, Steve-O. Steve Scouten. He knows why I had to do that. He's a big Hawaii Five-0 fan.
Indeed.
Yes. Hello, gorgeous Susie Q. Oh, all right. And then, let's see. We got two choices here. Yeah, he's having a hell of a good time being on our shows. Jeff Crichton. All right, so I apologize in advance for the amount of Beatles choices that could come from the show. And when I say Apollo, you know what I mean. Let's kick it off with the honorable Beatle himself that Sir Paul McCartney said he is, Jeff Crichton.
Okay, number 5. This 5 out of 60 on these sheets here, and it came down to the wire too. So when you pick this album, you got to go look for America, or go to the zoo, or give a call to Mrs. Robinson. So I'm picking number 5, the great album by Simon and Garfunkel, Bookends. And with that choice, I ain't faking it.
No. No. They weren't faking it either. Unless in the studio they were, maybe. Who knows?
What a great album. Great album.
Do you, like, in that time frame, because Mrs. Robinson, was it, obviously age showing here, it wasn't famous until the movie? Or was it was it already a hit song?
It was the movie. The Graduate was out before the Bookends album.
Okay.
So it was on the Graduate soundtrack, which was earlier that year in '68.
Okay, so the Graduate comes out, the soundtrack comes out. See, I didn't know back in those days that the soundtrack came out sometimes like they do here, where it's delayed or whatnot,
Yeah, no, it was out months before. Yeah.
Okay, so it was a single on radio prior.
Yep.
or because of that. So,
Yep.
was that the lead single?
It was.
It was. Okay. All right. Yeah. So they didn't start with faking it. That's probably a good idea. uh, Susie
Actually,
Q.
at the zoo was the second single.
Second one. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Sue, you're number 5.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna trail behind Jeff as I sometimes do. I also had bookends. It was my number 3, I think, but I'm just gonna move it to 5.
That way it's
Wow.
just
Yeah,
flow.
and see if we don't cross paths again. But I love Simon and Garfunkel, and but I just love their music. It's beautiful, and of course, Hazy Shade of Grey, and then the Bangles did a wonderful job on it too. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's my number 5.
All right. The Grateful Dude.
Okay, well, I told Mark I would fool him, and this one I will. I don't think a Hell's Bucket's chance he knows what this band is. I saw him in concert, my first concert ever. It was in a garage, and they are called the Chocolate Watch Band.
Ooh,
Oh.
good choice. They're a great band.
They are a fabulous band.
Yep.
I've been listening. Mark, have you heard of them?
Nope. No chocolate.
Great record. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Inner Mystique.
Yeah, they and that's the album, and Inner Mystique.
They're on this list too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a garage band that
Oh.
was formed in '65, and it combined psychedelics, rock band components, and the sound was marked by David Aguilar's lead vocals, songwriting in a proto-punk musical arrangements. They were wild.
Yep.
They were wild. One critic called them American Dancer to the Rolling Stones, and they were really, really good. I really miss them. I have all their albums. I think there's 3 of them in my collection, and they were a good band. They really were.
Good for you. Great choice.
Nice. Steve.
I agree with Jeff. There's a lot of great albums in '68 and a number of gigantic names in the music industry had debut albums in 1968.
Yep.
Everybody from Dr. John to James Taylor had a debut album in 1968. And I went with the debut album of 1968, and this is by the Gollywogs. You guys probably know them as Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yep.
Their debut album opened to a lot of negative reviews. I love John Fogerty, so it's certainly not going to get a negative review from the North Village side of Williamsville. The big hits, Susie Q, which was a remake. I Put a Spell on You, which was a remake. The Working Man, which is a great tune that doesn't get played very often. The song 99 and a Half, which was co-written by Steve Cropper and Wilson Pickett. Just a great album, and I wanted to hit one that might not get mentioned tonight because I think there's a few that are maybe top of lists, but CCR's debut is my number 5.
Good choice.
Yeah, that was a band that I kind of thought because I saw their name on the list, right? Because I didn't associate with the debut right away. I kind of thought, is this going to have those hits that I know on it? You know what I mean?
Right.
No, this is a little bit different, right?
No, a couple of remakes and little help from some others on it, but a nice start to a wonderful career.
Yeah. So I have some oddities, but I have the standards too. 1968, strange year and everything going on. Musically, if you go through these albums, tons and tons of similarities, tons and tons of songs and structures and things that are done that would affect 2 years later and other artists. And I'll get to that in a bit too. But I started mine off with the crazy world of Arthur Brown.
Wow.
Debut psychedelic soul from England. This person would not affect the current ages. He would affect the future ages, those of like King Diamond, Marilyn Manson, because he was structurally unsound. He had a stage presence like no other. And this particular album is listed as one of the darkest albums in history. And of course, you know,
He was a one-hit wonder too.
yeah.
He
Who
was.
made multiple albums afterwards, you know, to the tune of them sort of forgotten in that regard. But yeah, only one song on radio, technically. And
Fire.
you can see why. It's the God of Hellfire, right? So that's my number 5 to lead us off. It's an interesting record. I didn't think it would be on anybody else's list but mine. So back to Jeff Crichton.
What about Brother Ray's number 5?
Oh, that's right. Right. So the band exploded on the scene in 1968. A lot of the greatest, like including Clapton, wanted to be part of the band. No room. Sorry, Eric. Music from Big Pink would welcome the band to the world. Their next release was more complete and better known, but this album is the number 1 for his number 5 nod. So that's the band's Letters from Big Pink.
Music.
Music from Big Pink.
Yeah, music. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Produced in Woodstock, New York.
Yeah.
Yep. Jeff Crichton, back to you.
Okay, so my number 4. See, music from Big Pink. I mean, like that could easily be in the top 5, depending on my mood. My number 4 is a debut album, and it's very sparse. Just hear voice, guitar, piano, not all at the same time. It was produced by David Crosby, and it has the beautiful beginning of "I Had a King," "Michael from the Mountains," "Night in the City," a song she wrote a couple of years earlier before that debut album, and "Cactus Tree," and that would be Joni Mitchell's debut album, "Songs for a Seagull."
Was that
And her
was that actually
brilliance,
the title?
Brilliant.
songs to a seagull, and her legend would grow from there. And tomorrow is her 82nd birthday, so
Yep.
happy birthday, Joni.
Yep.
One of my favorite artists of all time.
Sue.
I went with Waiting for the Sun, The Doors. Just because, well, again, we're 1968, so I'm just trying to go with what I'm semi-familiar with. And this was definitely in my sister's collection. So I guess it's noted to be more mellow than some of their other work, but it's still the Doors. It's funny, and based on some of the other albums I was listening to this week, like his voice it's he kind of did a lot more with it than I remember, but there was even some deeper, darker chords that kind of were reminiscent of Johnny Cash a little tiny bit. And then I even heard some Gord Downie in a couple of the songs too. Just I don't know if the timing or just the way he played with the sounds a little bit, but anyway, and I was in the mood for it because you kind of have to be, I think, with the Doors sometimes. And
so Gord Downie covered Susie Q from our prior mention from that year, 1968.
Yeah.
So with the band early years. I think I have the recordings of those too. Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, Mr. Chef Jeff, hotel boy.
My next album is all these albums or all these songs or lyricists were before the Grateful Dead for me. The Dead were a year away, 2 years away before I got into Dead. But these are important to me. This this band was very famous in 65, 66, 7, 68, 69, 70, maybe at the most. It's the Byrds, the Notorious Byrd Brothers. Fabulous album.
Sure is.
Fabulous album. It I got to see them a couple times. They were really cool. And I just can't say enough about them. I really can't. All the all the albums in this are something that meant something to me back in my younger days.
That album started 1968 out. It came out like January 3rd.
Yep.
And then that was Crosby's last album with them. And then a few months later, they went to Nashville and recorded Sweetheart of the Rodeo.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Scouten, number 4.
So I go from a debut album. Oh, also I debuted in 1968, by the way.
Oh,
nice.
Wow.
But
were you January, February?
No, February.
Okay.
Yeah. But I go from a debut album to a second studio album for this performer, and an album that the record label didn't heavily promote. He was battling with the record label at the time, but literally one of the most beautiful albums, in my opinion, out there. It's Van Morrison's Australia Weeks.
Fantastic record.
Love it. Have loved
Fabulous.
it. Loved it
Fabulous.
for years. It was a pleasure to re-listen to it again. You know, and Van goes to as he does in a lot of his music, he goes to dark places, but he also has those ones, you know, the title track's a great example. It's something where, you know, he self-describes it as something where he's looking out and can finally see the horizon, if that makes any sense. You know, Sweet Thing is another one that a lot of airplay for Sweet Thing. So I love the song Cypress Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
Great tune.
Sure is.
You know, he wrote that for a street in Belfast. And the finale, Slim Slow Slider, which is a story about a young girl's self-destructive nature. You know, just a wonderful, wonderful album. Always been a huge fan of Van Morrison, so a solid number 4 for me.
How far?
Great choice.
How far away was he from them at that point? A year or two?
Well,
them broke up in 66.
66. Okay, so a couple. Okay. It's the only time I liked them was when he was in it.
Yeah, because Brown Eyed Girl was 67.
67.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Girls before it. Yep.
So I had rock albums, and I got a feeling that those rock albums are going to come to where they are, you know, and then there were those that were playing around with different styles and sounds of that nature. You know, they were going a little bit more, maybe more psychedelic or more metal, if you want to call it metal at the time. And then I said, no, you know what? Let's step away from that. Let's try to go to jazz. Well, you would think, you know, Miles Davis, you would think John Coltrane. No, but instead you get Peter Brotzmann's Octet, and you get Machine Gun. 1968, this was the Trailblazer. This came before Miles Davis's Bitches Brew. This was the octet that set the stage for avant-garde, creative, free jazz. And it's not for everybody. It will disturb. It's gloriously bombarding and rewarding. It's an ear-changing experience, just like that of Bitches Brew. You know, this is Peter, of course, he played tenor, baritone. He produced the whole record, but you had another tenor sax, you had brass, clarinet, another tenor, piano, bass, drums, another set of drums, and just improv craziness that just will test the limits of the avant-garde improvised jazz, and they were the ones that started it all. Critically acclaimed in that, but it didn't fly off the shelves as you wouldn't, as you would expect. I went through again and I listened to Coltrane's and I listened to Miles Davis's Miles in the Sky and Nefertiti, and still I would put this record in that realm of above those boys. In all time, Peter will never be taken in the wording of Miles Davis and John Coltrane and others, but this record will stand out from 68 above or in those deep pockets you want to look in. If you're already familiar with the ones we're going to talk about here, that would be your jazz one I would recommend. And the time that I did put it on album for today, it was several hundred people clicking away on that one. So I was kind of surprised. Who knew? That was interesting.
Nice.
Back to Jeff Crichton for his number 3.
What about?
Oh no, wait.
Ray?
I keep getting Ray. Again, my list is based on what I want to listen to today, and I'm hooked on listening to this boogie blues band like not many others. Love the sound. I love the blues band that cover them, and I just dig the overall vibe and feel of these guys. At number 4, I'm going with Boogie with Canned Heat by Canned Heat. On the road again, going up the country, need to get to know them much deeper than those 2 tracks, that album. And they were very much a band that said the blues is this important that we will showcase. We're playing the old style. We're not making anything new. What did they write? Maybe 2-3 new tracks ever.
Right.
Cool guys. As a matter of fact, the guy from Canned Heat is going to show up on my list.
Oh.
Now we go to Jeff Crichton.
And Canned Heat put 2 albums out that year too.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, my number 3 album, surprise, surprise. Things move up, things move down. So, when Bob Dylan and the Hawks, after Dylan's motorcycle accident in '66, and as he was recovering in Woodstock, and they joined together and were writing songs together, and in the Big Pink House, and they recorded like an incredible album, the Basement Tapes, which was bootlegged for years until it finally saw its day in 1975. So the Hawks decided because they weren't playing with Ronnie Hawkins anymore, they needed to find a new name. When Capitol Records put the single out, the 45 of The Wait, there was no name of the group. It listed all 5 members on the 45, which I have that 45. So it's kind of cool.
All those names fit on the 45?
Yeah. And Robbie Robertson back then was Jamie Robbie Robertson.
Oh, that's okay.
So Capitol Records said, well, you have to have a name. And they came out, they said, okay, we're the band. So that's where that started. So after the Basement Tapes record, man, they joined together and they're still writing some great songs with with Dylan, and Music from Big Pink is like phenomenal, epic debut album, and very worthy of anybody's list. And if you've never heard it, shame on you. Go listen to it. Right after this show, go listen.
And after that, you can go into the future and do the new Basement Tapes, just to get a flavor for other bands that have been influenced, like My Morning Jacket and Elvis Costello and Rihanna Giddens and the Dawes. I'm missing somebody there. Sorry. Who am I missing? Oh, Mark Mumford.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Who really did the best of all of them, to be honest with you, on that record, I think.
Yeah, the
Mumford
one is awesome.
He crushed it, and he had no songs written for that one, and he came in empty and wrote them in the hallway.
I kind of feel like I'm learning a lot. I feel like I should just shut up and just listen to everybody because you guys are sharing a lot of information. But Mark, like you were nowhere even near being born yet, and yet you know all of these 1968 albums. It's really weird to me.
I spent a long time and years, and one of the things that why I do these shows, right? I honestly, obviously, I'm not a guy from that era. I'm not an aficionado of the era. There are other people like the Professor of Rock who could go back to '68. He's interviewed these people. He's a great resource if you want. I'm trying to show you that, and when I'm going to show next, that other bands influenced other people moving down the line, and maybe their record didn't crush it like the Rolling Stones or somebody like that, but they made an impression to the people around them that were with them at the time. You know, you didn't have to sell a million records to be successful and to be loved. Here, it seems like we have this thing where you have to sell or you have to be that popular, have to get a million streams. No, that's not the case. You and your peers need to look around and go, God dang it, you're really good. Holy cow, how did you do that again? Why do you do it that way? Right? So, yeah.
I don't.
Well, back then, artists were given time to grow,
Yeah.
which now they don't.
But
Yeah.
time to
So
grow
if
weed?
it,
No?
if it took 2 or 3 albums for you to make it,
Mhm.
I don't think
the labels were patient back then.
Yeah.
I don't think the chocolate wristband ever sold more than 80,000 albums, and mostly around California. In California,
area.
yeah, because they were a local band, and I happened to be lucky to see them. But I think I'm the only one that was born prior to '68, wasn't I?
No,
Okay,
Well,
me and Crichton then.
yeah. Yeah. Deb's 10 on me, so that's what Deb would be there too.
Goes Ray. And
Yeah.
I remind him of it all the time.
Ah, okay. Well, we'll remind him tomorrow when he's.
All right, good.
yeah, I was saving my allowance back then to buy records.
Yeah, you meant. I mean, that's again. There's another thing that's why you appreciate it more because you had to buy it. You had to, and if it sucked, you had to keep playing it because you bought it, right? And then you realize it didn't suck. You did. And then you listen to it further on, right? That's that's me like listening to something and going, I didn't get it. I didn't get Jeff Beck until way later. I didn't get. Well, because let's just make it clear. There are great guitarists now that are still alive that do different things than he does, but he is an extension of his guitar, and he gets overshadowed because of Populous and more stuff coming down the pipeline. Joe Bonamassa, Buckethead, Jimmy,
Eric,
Stevie Ray Vaughan, right? Let's not.
They can't hold a candle to Jeff Beck.
I agree.
But for me, I don't come in at Jeff Beck, and Jeff Beck wasn't really making really good records back in those days when I was born. He needed to play by himself like he did in the past. I didn't have the past. I had what was there. It's just it's the timing you come in on, right? And Grateful Dead said Grateful Dude said I didn't see the Grateful Dead. Grateful Dead had a record out in '68.
Yeah.
He didn't have it. He wasn't on it. He didn't listen to it.
I didn't know who Grateful Dead was at the time.
Right.
I didn't know who they were in '69.
And when we did electric guitars, Jeff Beck is that number one. He's that extension of the guitar. He's the for a lot of people, me top 5. There's a different reason for that, but no one plays guitar like Jeff Beck. They don't play it like he does. They don't act. There's no reincarnation of Jeff Beck that I've seen yet.
Oh.
Anyway.
Most of the great guitarists, there is no duplication of them. Period.
I don't know. Jimi Hendrix gets duplicated a lot.
I think guitar players in general,
I said great guitarists.
It's very, very subjective.
Yeah, it is.
I think folks have their wheelhouse that they like when it comes to guitarists. And the older I've gotten, I want to know who my guys that I love as guitarists, who they listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, you can get caught up in, I only listen to this. But if I know that this guy also listens to this or was influenced by that, that's where the history comes in, you know. I mean, Christ Almighty, I was what, 10 months old at the end of this year. But this is the type of music that I listen to, I listen to today.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean, it's real subjective, different strokes for different folks. And, it's just fun to educate yourself on all this.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they asked at the time Jimi Hendrix, how's it feel to be the greatest guitarist alive? And he goes, I don't know, go ask Alvin Lee.
Right.
Yeah.
Susie Q, sorry I interrupted your whole thing.
No, that's all right. I asked a question. And also, I'm pretty sure someone broke into your chips, Jeff. I'm going with my number 3 is going to be Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison. And again, he's someone like I always appreciated Johnny Cash, but it really wasn't until that movie came out that I really started to listen a little bit more. And I think I had, my name is Sue. So I was always kind of put off by A Boy Named Sue because it's like, okay. But anyway, so I have since come to appreciate him, and really the whole, I don't know if anybody else has picked him, but I'm sure you have a lot more to say and more interesting things. But I just think the story behind the album is incredible, and his life story is incredible. And so my number 3.
He
Good choice.
is another example of what I'm talking about. I didn't
Mhm.
appreciate Johnny Cash, didn't care about Johnny Cash until that movie. I had a
Mm.
different opinion of what he was and what wheelhouse he was in, and I didn't realize how dark he was, how it was painted and everything. I had my
Yeah.
own
Well, it was
preconceived.
interesting to learn again, yeah, because I mean, he was just a voice on the radio, but getting to learn his story and what inspired him and drove him, whether it was good or bad, it just made it really come to life for me. So
It'll be interesting to see. I went to see the Springsteen movie last night, and it'll
Okay.
be interesting to see if something similar happens with folks with that movie, because that takes you down a dark road during his year when he put together the Nebraska album. And it's not the Born in the USA guy, and it's certainly not the Born to Run guy, but it's that I wonder if folks will have that similar reaction where, oh my gosh, I never realized this was where he was. And, it opens up people's eyes maybe. And, that's another, it's another phase of the whole music 101.
yeah.
So
I saw the Bob Dylan movie, and that opened up a whole bunch of.
I agree with you, Jeff. Same reaction. Yep.
He Bruce Springsteen now has 2 of the best box sets of the year.
Yeah, that Nebraska remaster is unbelievable.
Sure is.
He's very good.
And those 8 records in that other set, if you're a true fan, and there's some of that similarity in the way things are played in it and how it's demonstrated. And whoever, has he had the same manager the whole time?
Yeah,
No.
John.
No. During those times with those, no. Okay, because
John Landau became his manager starting on the Darkness album.
Okay, so that would be
Who was before him, Jeff?
Mike Apple.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just.
Who was Robin?
Okay.
My
Steve,
turn.
right? No, Jeff. Yeah, the chef Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people say this band is obscure. I've talked to other people who said, who? But I think they're great. I've always listened to them. I got to see them in '71. They were fabulous. This album, White Heat, by the Velvet Underground.
Great
Great album.
Great album. And I can't say enough about it. It's their second studio album, and they were fabulous. They just these older bands that I have been mentioning had struck more than one chord in you. It struck all the chords. They were very, very good albums. Mark.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of those that's a different rabbit hole of music in actuality.
Yeah.
Oh, you
right?
go down a lot
Yeah,
of rabbit holes
there's a hint of Beatles going on in there. There's a structure of certain things and stuff, but they go down a variety of avenues that are interesting.
Well, that was their last record. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Steve.
Okay, so 3 for me. As I started doing this, I thought this might be 1, but as I dug deeper, this became 3, which will surprise the guy at the hockey game. Their 7th album, released almost right before the end of the year. Their last album with Brian Jones.
Mm-hmm.
It really back to like blues rock, country rock for me. So for me, it's a fantastic album. Everybody loves Sympathy of the Devil and Street Fighting Man. I like Factory Girl and I like Salt of the Earth, and maybe my favorite one on the album is Parachute Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Reached number 5 on the Billboard. It's went platinum. It's Beggar's Banquet. The infamous album cover of the graffiti-filled bathroom wall. It's Beggar's Banquet by the Rolling Stones.
So you'll be happy to know that it will not surprise that guy, because that guy has his number 3 the same.
Same thing. No. I'm actually surprised it's that. Actually, knowing him, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised. I can see why it is, knowing what's upcoming. Ray
basically is stating the fact that, yes, while you love Sympathy for the Devil, Street Fighting Man, if you listen longer, there are deeper cuts.
They're great.
Factory Girl, definitely, right?
Yep.
But for me, that one song alone by itself, it would be this album has to be on my list, because that's just, Sympathy for the Devil was that was that song that gripped me and took me to dark places. Yay! All right. And you know where I heard it first? I didn't hear it first until 1980.
Wow.
Hunter. The television show Hunter.
Oh, with Fred Dreyer.
Mm-hmm. Clint Eastwood's stunt double. Anywho, now you guys know weird shit about me. I don't know why I say these things. Okay. So, this one has all kinds of psychedelic rock, psychedelia, jazz, strings, harmonies. The guitar part of a song called Taurus is said to have influenced Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page in writing Stairway to Heaven. This is Spirit. A remarkable progressive rock type of record with a lot more going on. And yes, one of the boys from Canned Heat is on that record, and I can't think of his name now. I don't know who it is, but he's on that record as well.
Is that the debut album or the second album you're picking?
Spirit. Is it the debut? I thought it was the debut. No?
Spirit's debut, and then later on they had The Family That Plays Together, Stays Together.
Okay, yeah. So
this
says Fresh Garbage is on this record. I love that track.
Yeah.
Great
I Got
song.
a Line on You is on the second album.
Okay, yes. Live performance of the song, As Long As I Have You, also said to have borrowed that particular Fresh Garbage lick. So there's a tie to Led Zeppelin listening to Spirit going forward, So there you have a little influence, as I'm talking about. But that surprising record, I hadn't listened to it in a long time. I didn't know the backstory until I started looking. I go, how do I get this record moving up my list? Because the next two, they're going to be the next two. Over to Jeff Crichton.
Yeah. Well, my number 2 album for me was the beginning of probably the peak of this band's from this album all the way till 1972. It was one great album after another. Okay. And, you know, when I first heard it, I had some expectations. And I was doing a jigsaw puzzle while I was listening to it.
Oh,
Yeah. And, you know, the singer's the salt of the earth. You know, got to raise your hand and go, Stray Cat Blues is just like so friggin' great, that song.
It is.
And like the whole album from Sympathy all the way to Salt of the Earth.
Yeah.
And Steve mentioned the Toilet cover with the graffiti.
Yep.
And London Records here in the US said, like, we can't put that out. So you know, they put out looked like an invitation. And
Right.
it was white with pretty writing. But you know, if you bought it thinking it was going to be a pretty record, boy, were you in for a surprise. Yeah, Beggar's Banquet, numero 2 for me.
numero 2 for you, Susie Q.
All right. All right. I'm just gonna go with, maybe this is blasphemy, but I'm gonna do the Beatles' White Album as my number 2.
Okay.
And I'm sure other people are gonna talk about it, so I won't say too much. If Jeff Young were on again, I really didn't know too much about the Beatles until I think it was 8th grade, and I cannot remember the music teacher, but it was like the best music class ever, and he took us through some of the albums. But so I don't have I don't go way back with the Beatles, but obviously the songs on this album are spectacular. And I think we were talking to Deb the other night. She was like, it wasn't her favorite album out of them, but I appreciate it, and it's got to rank up there on a top 5 list, I think. So that is why I chose it for number 2, and then that's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Mhm.
Grateful Dude.
Yeah, my number 2 album is a very famous San Francisco band, but it's not the Grateful Dead. It had Grace Slick in it, Paul Kenner, Marty Balin, Yorma. I can never pronounce the last name. We'll just go Yorma. Yeah. Jack Cassidy, David Crosby, Tim Davis, and a whole lot more. They were very, very good. I am talking about the infamous Jefferson's Airplane.
Crown of Creation.
Yeah. Yep. Crown of Creation. Yep. A fabulous album. Yep. I saw them about 7 times in my life, and every time they mixed up personnel a lot, but besides that, they were an awesome band. All I can say is if you haven't heard this album, as soon as the show is ended, you go listen to it, because this will blow you away.
It's very good. Did you see them more as a Starship or the Airplane?
Half and half. 3 concerts before, 4 after.
Did you say Crosby was in the band?
Yes, David.
He was on the album.
Okay,
that's what got him. That's what
but
got
I
him.
saw him twice in concert with him.
Yeah.
That's what got him fired from the Byrds.
Yep.
It did. Honestly, it did. Because at Monterey, at the Monterey Pop Festival, Crosby hopped on the stage and played with the Airplane, and then during the Byrds set, he spoke out. Oh gosh, what did he speak out against? Who he thought who he thought really killed JFK.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Wow. Well, on that note, Steve Scouton.
Oh, number 2, right?
Yeah.
So
who do you think killed Kennedy?
Great.
I did.
Great question.
Which
David
one?
Cosby. It was David Cosby.
I have a feeling the guy on the beach there is going to talk a lot more about this album than I'm going to. So I'm going to go with the White Album as number 2.
Okay.
Again, the beauty in that album for me is just the different styles of music that kind of come out of the Beatles on the album.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little folksy, it's a little avant-garde, it's a little ska, it's a little rock, it's a little folk. It's got a lot of everything. The standard. There's not a lot I could say. The one thing I will say is that, yeah, I've got a picture of the Temptations playing Kleinhans in 1968 as my background, and I was gonna go with the picture I have of myself on Abbey Road. And I didn't, and I'll save it for another time. But 24-time platinum. Obviously went to number 1 on the Billboard charts. While My Guitar Gently Weeps is a favorite. My favorite on the album, I think, is Blackbird.
Yeah, I love that.
But just end to end, it's probably it's a fantastic album. Anybody, I would not argue with anybody with it being their number 1, and I won't argue with you, Jeff, when it is yours. I just I love it. I'll explain why my number 1 is number 1 when we get there.
Yeah, it's great. So number 2 for Ray goes back to an album, Bookends, with Simon and Garfunkel. Vocalists, they stood out in a special way in such a tumultuous time. Their harmonies were really special, and this album took them to a new level. We all know Mrs. Robinson, but it's Faking It and Hazy Shade of Winter and America that I'm loving. Great record, and the end was sadly near, though, for the duo at that. So, my number 2 is Beggar's Banquet, Rolling Stones. I already told you it's Sympathy for the Devil, and if somebody else covers it, I'm all over it. If they make a different version of it, like, wow, Mark, terrible. Case of the Olds. I can see the cover, and I can't think of the band's name. Wow. They had it. It was no Symphony for the Devil. Come on. Terrible. Their drummer he could play 3 licks at once. He could play 3 things at once. God, they were great. Damn it! Wow. Sad. So anyway, that record. If we were to do a album ranking for the Stones, it would be a very difficult thing where that would lie, because obviously with the one album being one of the greatest records ever made. And then to have that one of my favorite songs of all time, maybe. That's.
Think of this. They started with Beggar's Banquet, was followed by Let It Bleed, that was followed by Sticky Fingers, that was followed by Exile on Main Street. Like,
there's not a better 4 album run ever.
Exactly.
Probably not.
Exactly.
It'd be very hard to. Yeah.
There's not.
I just forgot the Spirit album. That was produced by a gentleman who did the Mamas and the Papas. He did all these things. And he owns the Roxy.
Lou Adler?
Which I didn't know. Huh?
Lou Adler?
Yeah.
Yep. Guns N' Roses, Ozzy Osbourne, Motorhead.
Lou Adler, he owned Ode Records too.
Yeah, he made that. Yeah.
And he Tapestry was on Ode Records.
Yeah, because he signed them, I think, with Mamas and the Papa were on the record label too.
Mamas and the Papas were on ABC Dunhill.
Yeah, but
so he might own that label.
He owned Dunhill.
Dunhill.
That's it.
Dunhill.
Not Turkey Hill. That's ice cream.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
David Byrne.
Randy California and his dad. That was Spirit.
His son Nick, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to Jeff Crime, but before we do, I'm gonna let him. Oh, what? Did I miss something? No. Okay.
No.
I'm gonna let him I'm gonna name an album, and then he can spout out an honorable mention, and then I'll name another one, and he can spout out an honorable mention, and he can see if I got any of his. So, hang on one second. I'm saying hang on one second, like I can't edit this shit. That's crazy. Because I know the people here will not be naming any of these records. Ready? Well, Towns Van Zandt. Remember the album?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me something in your honorable mention that's like that, or there's got to be somebody in the folk realm, right? That's what we're talking about.
You want me to? Oh,
yeah. You
so
got
I'm
some
picking a
folk. Drop some folk honorable mentions.
How about Laura Nero, Eli, and the 13th Confession?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you haven't, Sue, you need to listen to that album. That's your kind of record.
Okay.
All right. How about some water? A lot of water in the 1968. I'll let you have at it. A lot of bands with the name Water. A lot of people with the name Water. Got any of that on there?
Water?
Yeah. Sweet Water, Muddy Water, Mad Water.
Oh, Muddy Water. Yeah, I do have a Muddy Water. Electric Mud.
Yes, great. Yep. I don't like the version of Hoochie Coochie Man though. That one I didn't dig as much.
It was better live.
Yeah.
Much better live.
And that was on my list, but I wouldn't have called that a honorable mention.
I
had
okay.
much stronger records on there.
Moody Blues, In Search of the Last Chord.
Ooh, Moody Blues.
Yeah.
The Lost Chord. Last Chord.
Yeah.
What do you got in that?
The Kinks Village Green Preservation Society.
Yep.
No surprise.
I thought maybe it might get into your 5. I wasn't sure how far it was.
It might have. I mean, it might have been at 6. So.
So I have a Ford Theater Trilogy for the Masses, which is a prog record. Really delightful, really well done. Kind of English sound. Do you have anything in that? What else you got? Because you're not a prog guy.
I'm not a prog guy at all. Let's see. How about the debut album from Fairport Convention? It wouldn't be prog. Folky.
No, but it's bigger.
Yeah.
Would that be more Chicago? Nah.
Fairport Convention?
Yeah, no, that's not.
No. Is it British folk rock?
Folk rock? Yeah. So were you into the Os Mutantes? Any the Brazilian influence that happened during that year?
You mean Sergio Mendes?
Well, there's Os Mutantes. They were this Brazilian rock band, and they have been mentioned in every list of 1968 in the top 100 albums of all time in 1968.
Well, okay, I'll counter that with Traffic's second self-titled album.
Great album.
Sure is. That was the one with Dave Mason.
Yeah.
All right. Jeff Beck's Truth.
Yes, of course.
All right.
Okay. That was on my list, and I'll counter that with Wheels of Fire by Cream.
Okay. Yeah. Where does that come in Cream's?
That was her third album.
But that would
half
be ranked
studio, half live.
Yeah, ranked third maybe if you're gonna rank.
No, maybe Disraeli Gears and then the debut album and then this.
Mm-hmm.
But the second album, it's a double album. So the best album is like studio, and it's got White Room is like the big hit.
I thought the second album was their best album.
Disraeli Gears, yeah.
All right, wait. I give you a couple more, and then I'll move on to you as your number 1. When I say couple, it's 5.
Okay. Okay. You're gonna give me some more. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh boy, I've got. Hopefully, this will count as 1. The Notorious Bird Brothers and Sweetheart of the Rodeo. Maybe this will count as 1 too, because Aretha Franklin put out 2 albums that year. Lady Souls.
Yep.
Now.
I think that might be a mistake when you put the 2 out, because if she'd have had the 1, I might have.
She's fabulous.
How about the debut album by the Electric Flag? You know, and
I do not know.
And Jeff Johnson might be the only other one that gets that.
I know what. Yep.
So is Electric Flag, does that go with the chocolate watch? I don't know.
No, the Electric Flag was a blues band.
Completely.
The late great Michael Bloomfield, one of the greatest guitar players ever. And you could almost pony that up with the Super Sessions album, which was a jam record with Bloomfield, Al Cooper, and Steve Stills.
Yeah.
So prior to CSN making their first record,
Right.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears put out 2 records.
That's the band. They
Yep.
did No
Blood,
Sympathy for the
Sweat,
Devil.
and Tears.
The
Blood,
first
Sweat, and Tears.
album, Child is Father to the Man.
Yeah.
Even though the second album came out at the end of '68 and had like 4 or 5 hits in '69.
Mm-hmm.
But Child is a Father to the Man, when Al Cooper was leading that band, that album is spectacular and really special. 68.
So.
And so did Johnny Winter.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
That's a debut.
The Progressive Blues Experience. That was his debut album.
I would have thought that his debut was like 1937 or something.
No.
That's right. So go ahead with your number 1.
It would be Two Virgins by John and Yoko.
I don't think so. Two Virginians, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, gosh. Well, you know what? The first time when I was a wee lad and I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan's show, and as an 8-year-old boy at that time, when sports and music came to a crash, a head-on collision, and have remained my outside of my family, my 2 passions. And if it wasn't for the Beatles, I might not have had 25 years at Warner Brothers. But every record was exciting upon its release. When the White Album was anticipated for such a long time, because they hadn't put out an album since Magical Mystery Tour the year before. So, they wrote like 50 songs when they were in India, and with the Maharishi, and came back home and went to Harrison's Escher House and did a bunch of demos for that, and then went in the studio with George Martin and nailed him down. And there was a bunch of songs that were left over from that. But from back in the USSR all the way to the end of Good Night, which I used to sing to my daughter as a lullaby when she was a baby, and now I get to sing it to my granddaughter. It's
not Revolution 9. That's not.
Helter Skelter though has turned into a lullaby.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I know, like Brother Ray has said, this would have been a great single album, and I understand his point, but for me, the more Beatles, the merrier. So the White Album is number 1. Just like every year they put out a record, it was number 1 for me.
It was number 1. Soup.
All right. So, because I'm so awful at doing these setup things, I'm just going to read straight from Wikipedia. For my number 1, I went with Lady Soul. It was her 12th studio album. As you mentioned, she had 2 out that year. Aretha Franklin came out a month before Steve was born. And it stayed at number 1 for 16 weeks on Billboard's R&B album chart. It hit number 2 on the pop album chart underneath, don't know this person, but I'm sure everyone else does, Paul Marriott, during a year-long run. So awesome songs. I think they still track today, in my opinion. She inspired a million different people, and I'm giving it to the Lady Soul.
Excellent choice.
Yeah.
Grateful Dude. You're number 1.
Well, first of all, I want to say that the White Album, which probably didn't make my list, but was a fabulous, fabulous album. It was really one of the best albums of all time. But in my case, I didn't get into it until 72, 73, when I was a little bit more mature and a little bit able to understand the grasp of the song. But I just want to say that to let that be known. My number one pick is very near and dear to me. I listen to it at least once a week. Even though the first track of this album was 17 minutes long. It was the whole side of one album. And when I was 14, 15, I played in a band as a drummer, and this is the first song I remember playing all to myself. And the name of the band is Iron Butterfly, and the song name is Inagata Vida. And it's always held a very, very dear part of my life.
Very cool.
Yep.
5-disc set. That's one of them. Yeah. Great album.
Yeah.
Well, it was so inspiring to other people. You've got it on Manhunter from Michael Mann as the final song toward the end, where the violence happens and everything. And yeah, just
gruesome.
Yeah, gruesome. And it's a great record. Great record. And I can understand why it was going to be up there for you.
That's pretty much it.
Steve Scouten, number one.
So I started the night with a debut, and I'm going to end with this band's final album. Listening to it again, it's an album that I listened to, kind of all through college, and it's something I really liked. And as I did a little research, I didn't realize that a lot of the people that we've mentioned from this era played a part in this album. We talked about Dave Mason. Dave Mason played guitar on one and provided vocals on another. Steve Winwood played on this album, played the Hammond B. Jack Cassidy from Jefferson Airplane played on this album. And the shunned Brian Jones played percussion on this album for one song. The album is Electric Ladyland by the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Love it. Loved it when I first heard it and have loved it all along. Everybody knows the song, All Along the Watchtower, Crosstown Traffic, which is one of my favorite songs.
Voodoo Child,
which, we talked about great guitar players, and I make no bones about it. Stevie Ray Vaughan is my favorite guitar player of all time. He does an unbelievable version.
Yeah.
2-time platinum album was Electric Ladyland, went to number one. It's one of those things that you could put the White Album there. You could put, some days I probably put the White Album there. Some days I probably put Beggar's Banquet there. But today I went with Electric Ladyland. So
Can't argue with that. Can't argue. Mine is the Beatles' White Album. It is the number one greatest produced album of all time. Exile on Main Street's number 2. Production. What we're talking about here is, think of the timing we're talking about. We're talking about 1968.
Yeah.
We're talking about a flow of a record that shouldn't work at all. It's all over the place, but it flows. And even the end that gets walloped in some sort of psychedelic Nirvana. And by the way, there was a band called Nirvana in 1968. They had a record, All of Us.
Yeah.
I wanted to listen to it, couldn't find it, couldn't get it.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Yep.
No? I will take the Kurt Cobain Nirvana over this band.
Okay.
Should have stayed home.
I all those influences, things that they learned that might have been chemically induced, might not have been chemically induced.
It was.
Or internationally
Yeah.
induced. I don't think an album of this nature. So I went deep into '68. I didn't obviously. Jeff Crichton can go deeper into '68. He probably has those records. I don't. So I had to go looking, searching, and I'm looking at names like Dr. John and the Night Trip, Night Tripper and Gree.
Right.
I wanted to listen. I went and listened to that record. I'm like, nope. That ain't no White Album. I went to Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, The Witch Doctor. Nope. That ain't no White Album. I get down the list. Jimi Hendrix, Electric Lady. That ain't no White Album. This Jeff Beck's Truth. Even John Mayall's Blues Breakers Barbed Wire is not a,
No.
There's just nothing. There is nothing in '68 that is anywhere near what that's what's happening. Even the Moody Blues in Search of the Lost Chord.
Not even the Birds, the Bees, and the Monkeys.
No.
It's so so interesting that album came together the way it did when you realize that wasn't, and Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that when Yoko kind of showed up?
Towards the end of it.
Yeah.
Because McCartney met her first, and then Lennon did.
Gotcha.
With their friend's art gallery.
Yeah.
And Lennon started getting infatuated with her, but they didn't hook up until towards the end of the White Album. She was really making her presence felt during the Get Back sessions.
Yeah.
But there were two really good Bee Gees albums that year too. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I'm not.
Horizontal and Idea. No, really, very good pop records.
Okay. Horizontal. That's okay. I can't. Just okay.
Challenge yourself.
Oh no. There are things I've Jethro Tull, Bee Gees, ABBA. I'm missing somebody else in there that I've tried a million times over.
You take out the disco stuff of the Bee Gees, and they're really good.
Yeah.
Someone's got to let go of that guy's testicles so he can stop singing that high. I can't do it.
He does it naturally.
It's natural. Okay, well, somebody.
I've always thought the Bee Gees were very talented.
I'm not saying not talented, just not my wheelhouse of.
Well, you need to expand your wheelhouse.
No. I can listen. You guys want to have your ranking the Bee Gees album? I will officiate and just let you guys rank them. But it ain't gonna happen for me. Like some of you won't come on. You're not gonna do the Marilyn Manson category.
Right. Yeah.
So just that's the one thing. But I'll tell you, sold records, had that sound, and they had this talent for. I don't think they made genres like the band we're talking about right now, the Beatles, but they certainly were able to put. They could be the wallpaper of choice in the room. The Bee Gees. You could be disco. They could be pop. They could be they could be Simon and Garfunkel if they wanted to be.
Well, the White Album was a growing up for them. They grew up a lot musically during that album.
They were actually breaking up.
Yeah, it's the beginning of
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
But they grew up.
Well, I mean, hey, that's a lot of minds in the room that are pretty good songwriters all in their own, right? Especially Harrison and his mindset and how he comes to terms with writing music. And he probably didn't want to do the psych stuff, I don't think, on the White Album more than likely. He was more of a folky kind of, you look at his solo record.
Long is this kind of like a folky psych song.
Yeah, folky psych. Yeah. But Steve, did you have any honorable mentions? I'm sorry, we kind of let Crichton go.
Did you do Ray or no? What was Ray?
Oh, Ray's number one. Oh,
I don't remember it.
You're right, Sue. Wow. When people don't show, it throws me.
I'm gonna guess this Electric Lady Lane.
Might be my guess if I remembered what he. Whoops, he emailed me. Okay, so this was their debut. They can be argued as the best American band of the '60s. Their sound was down and dirty, and it seemed like they were coming right out of the swamp. The streak of albums was starting here, and there is one from beginning to end. Sounds so great. My top album of 1968, but he put 86. That's hilarious. Creedence, Clearwater Revival.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everyone knows the hits, the sing, but again, deeper, deeper, deeper. Love it. Number one. His honorable mentions: Doors, Waiting for the Sun, Van Morrison, Electric Ladyland, Shades of Deep Purple, Folsom Prison, Johnny Cash.
Believe it or not, all my honorable mentions have been mentioned.
Here's one out of the left side. In 1968, the Everly Brothers put out a record called Roots.
Roots.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it harkened back to what they were listening to as they were growing up, like, Kentucky bluegrass country. It's an excellent album produced by the legendary Lenny Waronker.
So, did the Righteous Brothers have a counter in '68 against the Everly Brothers?
They did not.
No. Okay. All right. Just making sure.
No.
I get all the brothers mixed up.
Now,
And Stevie Wonder, For Once in My Life, was out that year too.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't. Okay.
And so is Neil Young's solo album for
Yeah.
his debut solo album.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. My rocker that I left off was Steppenwolf.
Oh,
Yeah.
Debut from Steppenwolf.
The debut album with Born to Be Wild.
Yeah, Born to Be Wild on obviously not their song, but a lot of the songs on there are not their stuff.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Johnny K,
Yeah.
ties to the
Yeah.
area. Then
Right.
you got
Yeah.
Canadian. Who's the Canadian?
Another band that put out 2 albums that year.
Yep.
and I think it was debut Sailor by the Steve Miller Band.
That was their second album.
Second album. Okay.
Yeah. Their first album was Children of the Future.
Okay.
I do not know that record. I don't think the debut.
Children of the Future is a real blues record.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like
very much.
that album and Sailor, both those albums, Boz Scaggs was in the Steve Miller Band.
Okay, so that's with Boz. We just reviewed Boz's new record just this past weekend. Yeah, what a voice, what a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Still going on. All right, everybody good?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will obviously thank the panelists, especially the educational portion, because that's always the real part of here. You go back, check these records out. There's a slews and slews. You're probably talking about a year where there's probably at least 120 records you could listen
At
to.
least.
Yeah.
That are solid start to finish. Maybe they got a clunker here or there, but not
Easily.
too many. And the production on them for '68. There's a few that slid. I was expecting like the first track is well produced. Second one, I don't know. That might have been, they recorded it in '62 and threw it on '68. I don't know, but the production quality of '68 is really good too. And I think music forward until it gets to the '80s. Woohoo! But that's just me. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course. Articles, videos, podcasts coming soon, all about music, albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on. And this one is just all of what we get our hands on from '68. I don't know. I'll have to count how many records we actually mentioned. That'll be fun. Go Beyond Your Radio. That's a real music appreciation channel. Join us this Saturday. The Grateful Dude, myself, and Dan will be. We got 5 records, and one of them is that band from Buffalo.
And don't forget, Meals the Music tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. A whole crew will be in our house. We'll try to record and put this one out. We'll see how it goes. So thanks for watching and happy listening.